Check this out. Most men don't know how to lose body fat. They think they do. They're trying everything they can to get it off, but the reality is it just stays on. Whether you are new to the channel or if you are a returning guest, a warm welcome to you. If you're serious about losing fat, building lean muscle, and living with discipline, this channel is something you'll probably like, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. In this video, I'm going to unpack the 5 key things that I've seen that have sabotaged results, specifically talking about fat loss. Let's dive straight in. The first mistake is eating clean but not tracking calories. One of the guys that I coached, John, was reporting this back to me quite often when we first got started. He'd cleaned his diet up, he was feeling a lot better, he was implementing a lot of change, which is great. It takes time to implement new habits and get some things really rolling. But something that he kept giving me feedback on was that I'm eating cleaner, I'm eating healthier, but the results aren't coming. And so we knew it was the specific moment that he needed to start tracking calories. And so we started to track his food day in, day out, week in, week out. And what we soon learned, like everyone learns when they start doing this process, is that they're actually consuming far more calories than they think. Now, John wasn't doing anything wrong, and you're probably not doing anything wrong either. But when we talk about wrong, we need to define exactly what we're talking about. If your goal is to lose fat, as John's was, and he is not losing fat, then we are doing the wrong thing. So it's not that he was behaving poorly. It was that he was doing things that were outside of or out of line with the specific goal that he had. And I see this over and over and over again with men. They are on the hamster wheel. They're trying all the fad diets. They're trying all the new things. They're listening to all the gurus, people like me. There's thousands of us out there. And the important thing to note is that you have a specific goal. You need to find someone that can help you with that goal. A simple fix that can help you with this specific thing is to start to generate awareness and start to generate an understanding of what you're putting in your mouth. And the most simple way you can do that is to start tracking your food. You can do this on a piece of paper. You can do this in an app. You can do this in MyFitnessPal. Tracking food can seem like a massive task from the outset. I had that mindset too when I first started doing it because it was really complex and it wasn't something that I'd actually done before. And just like learning a new skill or starting a new job or starting a new business, there are so many elements that you don't understand because you simply haven't put the reps in. It can seem really overwhelming and it can seem like far too much to do. But if you start doing something every single day, every single week, soon enough, you start getting the reps in and you start getting more comfortable with the outcome that you're trying to get. Here is a simple strategy that you can implement that I give to a lot of people to get them going. Track breakfast for a week, track lunch for a week, track dinners for a week, and then track snacks and drinks for the week after that. Inside 1 month, you'll have tracked most of the meals that you probably consume on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You'll be able to save them in something like MyFitnessPal. So now, instead of actually having to build the meals at every single meal, inside 1 month, you'll have everything you eat inside the app and you can just tick and flick as you go. This way, instead of guessing how many calories you've got left, you'll actually start to understand what that number is. Now, the great outcome for people like John who pull the trigger, make a decision, and implement something as simple as that is that he lost 10 kilos of body fat. So he's actually reduced the amount of fat he had on his body. Now, let me show you how much that is. One of these things is 1 pound of body fat. And 2 of these things is 2 pounds of body fat, which is actually still less than 1 kilo of body fat. These 2 things combined are almost as big as my head. Now, if you were to think about that is not even 1 kilo and you may need to lose 10 or more of those, something that I'm very good at helping men do. Think of how much room that takes up. And remember, it doesn't just sit underneath your skin. It sits in and around your organs. It's called visceral fat. And it's really not a great thing to build up a lot of. Now, the next thing I see men do consistently that just sabotages everything, and specifically their fat loss results, is being really, really good for 5 days and being really, really bad for 2 days. Now, I've just done some quick maths and I want to let you know that 2 days in 7 days is just over 28%. So if you're being really, really good for 5 days and really, really bad for 2 days, almost 30% of your week is spent really, really bad. Now, I don't know about you, but if I have a specific goal, I don't want to spend 70% of my week working towards that goal. I want to spend up near 100. And I'm not talking about being obsessive and crazy about it, but what I am saying is that you either have a goal or you don't. So if you do have a goal, specifically fat loss, like we're talking about in this video, we need to put moments in our calendar all week, every day, where we're actually working on that goal, or it's just going to be something else that you talk about and never actually execute. So how do we work on calories? I like to think about and teach people to treat them like a budget, just like money. Let's say that while you're in a fat loss phase, you had a calorie budget of 2,000 per day. That gives you 14,000 calories across the week. So 2,000 times 7 is 14,000. Now, if you can nail that Monday to Friday, and which a lot of people do, yeah, I'm really good. I've smashed it for 5 days. Now I can let my hair down and do whatever I want across the weekend. The thing about doing whatever you want across the weekend without a strategy, without a plan, is that you can actually consume far more than you think. Now, let me give you a specific example of that. I'm gonna break down 2,000 calories. Now, just park the idea for a minute that 2,000 calories is our daily goal. Let's just shift that over here and focus over here. This little section inside my hands is going to be our weekend additional food consumption, which means that even if across the week I did my 2,000 per day for 7 days and it's 14,000 calories, we're going to pretend that you have eaten an extra 2,000 calories in the weekend. Let me show you how easy it is to accidentally overconsume 2,000 calories. I've got some notes right here about what it looks like. So I'm just going to read those out to you here. So if I've got a croissant with a coffee, with some milk and a bit of sugar, a smoothie or a juice. So the croissant and coffee is 400 calories, smoothie or juice, 350 calories, 2 slices of pizza, or whether that's leftovers or out at a mate's place, 600 calories. 1 or 2 cookies or biscuits is 200 calories. 1 glass of wine with dinner is 150 calories. And an ice cream or a small dessert, that's 300 calories. So there we have a total. Of 2,000 calories. I don't know about you, but I could smash that easy on a Saturday, not even across the weekend. If I wasn't thinking about it, if I wasn't tracking my food, if I didn't have an understanding of it, I could easily slide all that into one day, not even a full day of eating. So you can see how easy it is to build up. Now, if you did that on one, or maybe even you split that food consumption across the 2 weekend days, in addition to the food that you should normally be eating, even just to maintain your body weight. Every single month, you're eating over 7,700 calories. To be exact, it's probably about 8,000 calories, right? Give me a second. Back to our magic little fat things. You now know that this is 2 pounds or almost 1 kilo of body fat. Now, if you were to eat what we just talked through every weekend for a month, you would gain that much body fat. That's exactly right. There's 7,700 calories in a kilo of fat. So in addition to what you should normally be eating, if you were to eat this, you're gonna gain a kilo of fat per month. And people wonder why when they get to Christmas time next year, they think, how did I gain 10 kilos this year? And that's exactly how. So what do we do about it? You can prepare for the weekend during the week. We won't go into specific details here, and I don't want to make this video too long. However, I will give you this. If you take off 400 calories, this is a really simple fix that I get so many people to do. Take 400 calories off your budget per day, Monday to Friday. That gives you 2,000 back. Now, you can go and eat all this stuff on the weekend without a drama. Say your calorie budget was 2,000. You can keep that on Saturday and Sunday. But if you take out 400 during the week, when most people are busy, they're tied up, they're not sitting around in the pantry, in the fridge, they're actually doing stuff. So it's harder to binge eat and snack eat because you're on the move, you're on the go, you're a busy guy. Go and get stuff done. But on the weekends, you've now bought yourself back 2,000 calories to play around with, which is great because it no longer means that you're gaining weight every weekend. You've balanced it out during the week, just like you would a money budget to spend on the weekends. The next one I see is over relying on cardio. I see so many guys in the gym just jogging for ages on the treadmill, and they've got a sweaty shirt, they've got a red face, they're huffing and puffing, they're dripping sweat everywhere. Make sure if that's you wipe it up. Don't leave it on the ground like a grot. They endlessly do cardio and think that that's going to help their goals. Now, if you have a fat loss goal, that is not what you want to be doing. Now, don't get me wrong. You need to do some cardio to make sure your heart muscle stays strong. Now, my advice for a lot of people is to just do once or twice a week where you're getting your heart rate absolutely jacked. Huffing, puffing, working really hard in short increments. Some people call it HIIT training, high intensity interval training. Go and do that. But if you have a specific fat loss goal, you need to be lifting weights. This here is a replica of what lean muscle mass looks like. You've seen the body fat ones. This is the lean muscle one. This looks a lot nicer than the body fat one, doesn't it? I would much rather have a lot more of that under my skin than the body fat one, let me tell you. But we have to challenge these things to make them grow. The best way to challenge them is to put them under load progressively over time, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. I've been training in the gym for about 17 years straight. Apart from sickness and a few times in my life where I just dropped the ball for short periods of time, I've been in the gym every week. And trust me when I say, in the periods of time when I wasn't being consistent with that, these things shrunk, they got smaller and they got weaker. You have to consistently challenge your muscles in order to make them stronger. We have to put them under load, break them down, and then fuel ourselves outside the gym to get them stronger again. If you can build more lean muscle mass that stays on your body, you'll burn more body fat, even at rest. It takes far more energy for your body to maintain lean muscle than it does to maintain fat. And your body wants to stay in a state of homeostasis. It doesn't want to change. We have to implement that change by overloading the body. And you can do that in the gym. Lift some weights, get a plan, get a solid structure to follow, and do it consistently over time. The next one I see is people chasing short-term plans. Like all your problems are going to go away in the next 6 to 8 weeks. I've seen guys genuinely think that despite treating their body so poorly for 5, 10, 20 years straight with no weights training, eating like crap, using drugs, drinking way too much alcohol, smashing coffees all day, doing things like that, and then thinking, oh, I just want like a 4 or 6 week plan that's just gonna fix everything and get this 10 or 20 kilos off my body like that. It's not reality. Right? There are snake oil salesmen out there that will sell you the dream of that, but it's not the reality. You have to become the guy that lives like an athlete, that treats their body well, that trains hard and eats well consistently over a long period of time to get tangible, lasting results. Now, can you implement massive change in a short window? Absolutely. In fact, it's what I advise people to get the fat off their body. Dieting can be hard. You have all these habits and you're trying to change a lot of them, which means putting less stuff in your mouth. Now, if you try and change that instantly, it's going to be very hard, but we go through phases to get the fat off your body and you'll feel completely different when you do. Now, here's some things that doesn't work. Monday, waiting till Monday. Monday's not going to get you fit. If what's today? Tuesday. I'll start on Monday. No, start now. If you've made a decision to start now. You don't need to wait till Monday. You don't need to wait till the first of the month. If you've made a decision to change, start right now. The next one is your fleeting motivation. It does not make you fit. Motivation is very good for getting my bum off this chair, but it is not good for the rest of the moments that it will take me to get dressed, put my shoes on, get to the gym and settle into a difficult workout that's putting load on my body. That needs strategy. Those choices need a specific goal. We have to have tangible steps to follow in order to actually make that last long term. The next thing that absolutely will not work to get you to the goal of losing body fat is telling someone else about your new goal. And yes, there is accountability and there's putting people around you, which is part of my framework on having a great team around you. But what I'm talking about here is the people, and you know who you are if you do this. You text your friend and you say, bro, this is my new goal, which creates an inbound text message with a bit of encouragement. Little dopamine hit. You tell your partner, this is what I'm going to do. And they say, great job. They give you a hug or a kiss and they say, I'm proud of you. Or you tell a colleague at work, this is what I'm going to do. And they say, that's great. We should start something up at work. And in all of those points, with all of those bits of conversation, you delay actually starting to work towards your goal. And I've seen this before. I've done it myself. That's why I can speak to it, because I've been stuck in the trap before of going round the mountain, not working towards my goals. I've done this personally. I've done this professionally. I've done this in my business. But let me tell you, fast action takers win. People that stop talking and actually start doing get tangible results. And the best part is when you're trying to lose fat, you need to move. Some simple things that can help with that key point is number one, create a clear action plan. Get a structure, get a routine. Follow a fitness plan from top to tail and do it over and over and over and over. The next one, and probably more importantly before you actually start the plan and the action plan and the training, is having a clear goal. You need to know, if I'm at point A and I want to get to point B, what does that actually look like? Where is point B? Where is this plane flight going? Just like a pilot, they know where it's going to land so they can reverse engineer the process. The same works with fat loss. This is how much I want to lose. This is what I need to eat per week to lose this much. And I do it on repeat until the goal gets achieved. And the last key point there is, within that timeline from point A to point B, you need to know specific weight or time or both checkpoints, so that along that journey, you can check in and make sure that the things that you're doing, the actions, the behavioral goals, the effort that you're putting in is actually yielding a tangible result. Because if it's not, you're doing the wrong thing, you're wasting your time, and you're gonna go around the mountain. And the last one here, number 5, is ignoring habits and your environment. Now, habits can carry you a really, really long way to some really amazing outcomes. But unfortunately, for a lot of you who have more body fat on your body than you want, you have habits that have been around for a long time that don't serve you. You need to break those habits. And to do that, you need to make sure that your environments are conducive to living like the athlete mentality that I was talking about before. Now, despite thinking that we're really tough, all of us experience emotion in some way, shape, or form. In our lives, we are exposed to all these elements and stresses that come from our external environment. Now, you may not realize this yet, but there'll be moments, if you're a snacker, a binge eater, an alcoholic, if you use drugs, if you watch pornography, if you do any of those things. Now, there's a whole list of other things, but they're the things that come up a lot. You're having moments of stress and you're responding to that stress to try and ease it. Now, for a lot of guys, that's done through eating things and drinking things. Alcohol, coffee, food, sugar, salty foods, fast food, you name it. You've probably put some of that in your mouth before. So the first thing you need to do is conduct an audit. Go through the fridge, go through the pantry, go through the shopping list, go through the Woolies orders, and get rid of anything that isn't conducive to your newfound goal. Whatever that goal is, you need to create a diet and a plan that supports you moving towards that goal. And anything that's in the pantry or the fridge, doesn't matter what it is, get rid of it, chuck it out, feed it to the family, whatever you need to do. Don't eat it. Stop putting it in your mouth. That's number 1. And number 2 is make sure you set up a plan that's actually doable. Play a game you can win. Like, set yourself up with a very clear, simple strategy. Complexity fails, simplicity scales. You need to make sure that the plan that you have, you can do on repeat daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. That's what it means to truly embody that CXO mentality of being the chief exercise officer in your life and taking control of your exercise, your nutrition, your stress, and ultimately having a plan that works for you and your life. Well, if you're still here, I hope those 5 key things help you in implementing some change in your life. Before you run off, press the subscribe button. If you got value out of something specific in this video, I'd love to hear about it. You can drop that in the comments below. Let's open up the chats. If you'd like to connect more and see a bit more of the daily style content, head over to Instagram and search up Chief Exercise Officer. The link to my Instagram page anyway is in the show notes below. Righto, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye.